This story out of New Hampshire is so disturbing. Some of you might recognize this lady here, 34-year-old Emily Long, because she was quite active on this app before she murdered everybody in this picture. Many people followed her journey, talking about her husband's aggressive brain cancer diagnosis and how difficult it was for everybody in the family. It was taking a toll on her children. She was quite depressed. She posted up until a day before she killed everybody. Early Monday morning, she shot and killed her 8-year-old son, Parker, her 6-year-old daughter, Ryan. She shot her husband, 48-year-old Ryan Long, multiple times in the head, and then she turned the gun on herself. She spared the life of her youngest child, who was found wandering around the property when the police finally showed up that evening. I have no words. It's just devastating. Why take the life of your children? Why? I mean, it's just awful.
Hi. It's the long-awaited update that everyone's been waiting for, that I haven't been avoiding giving. Things really got crazy, so I just haven't had time yet. And like, as annoying as this is going to be like a multi-part little series because there's like so many pieces that go into like where we ended up this morning, basically. So I wanted to like talk about this weekend, last week, and like kind of how we got to where we are. And basically like we really struggled last week. So personally, obviously it's no secret, based on my last video, I have been having a really hard time. Like, I have felt very lost. I felt very alone. I felt very overwhelmed. I felt like this is just too much. Like, I can't function this way. The unknown has been really hard for me. The fear, the grief, everything has been just like culminating into like absolute, it just has felt like a cinder block on my chest. Like, I just haven't been doing very well. I think the other part that leads into that is that the kids are also not doing great. They're not like crying all the time and whatever, like as adults might show depression or sadness, but like there's a lot of talk about death. There's a lot, I can see my son, my oldest, worrying. I see him looking at my husband and watching and wondering and saying, you know, to his younger siblings, like, oh, don't do that because daddy doesn't feel good, or just, I see the weight that he's carrying, and that has been really hard. My daughter has just been showing signs of grief, and then my youngest has not forgotten, he still lives in our house, but he's asking less about his dad, and just, it's just hard. You know, they're coming into bed at night and asking if we can go into our guest room and sleep together. They're attached to me like Velcro. I couldn't tell you the last time I was alone. They just are so, they need to snuggle all weekend long. It was snuggle, 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 which is great. I love it. But I know the reason behind it, so it's upsetting. We didn't do anything with anyone all weekend except for my parents and my mother-in-law, because they were so attached to me. And then my husband leading up to it, last week we saw an uptick in seizure activity, some focal, some otherwise, a lot of cramping, which can be a mask of a seizure, so much fatigue, irritability, like you name it. And we were on 2 milligrams of dexamethasone, and they dropped him down to 1. He was like, I need to go back up, based on side effects. So he went back to 1.5, and he was like, I just want to be on 2. Like, I felt better that way. And they're like, we really want to taper you off. We don't want you to be on steroids forever. So we went to 1.5, and he was on Vimpat, and that was it. And we were trying to kind of just push through it, and I could just tell he wasn't himself. And it's just been a really hard last 2 weeks for everyone in so many different ways. And that's hard because I'm trying to keep everyone together. I'm barely holding it together myself. I want to just erupt and like run away. And everyone's struggling for different reasons. So I'm trying to keep my kids together. I'm trying to keep myself together. I'm trying to keep my husband feeling good. And I'm trying to figure out what's the dosage that's right for him right now. Like, is it swelling? Is it tumor? What are we working with here? So leading up to everything that happened in like the last 48, 72 hours, like everything prior to that is like foreshadowing. And I've learned a lot from everything that happened. Like of symptom management, symptom monitoring. I've learned a lot about meds. And like just seeing our family unit kind of start to crumble, and like I'm trying to pick the pieces up, but it just feels really heavy and it feels really stressful. And 5 days ago I made a video about how I feel like I'm disintegrating, and like that hadn't changed because it was only getting worse. So we were already in a tough place. And then like it all went to hell.
She did leave one child, the youngest, the toddler. The toddler did survive. She has been on social media documenting like her husband's battle with cancer and, you know, the struggles that she's facing and her depression. It's just a very sad story. What I don't understand is why do parents, people, adults feel the need to harm their children? I mean, this is happening a lot. This happens more than a lot of us even know. Why the toddler was left I just don't I will never understand that, because the toddler now is going to be, you know, grow up alone and wondering why mommy took his whole entire family. Do you know what I mean? And I am curious why she took the other two kids and not the baby. I am very, very, very curious about like what happened. Was the toddler hiding? Could she not find the baby at the time? Did he go and hide and she was like, this is it, I just gotta do it? It's just a very tragic story. Her name is Emily Long. If you haven't already seen it, you can check out some of her, just heartbreaking story. But as a suicide survivor, I mean, I lost my father to suicide when I was 18. I mean, I understand a lot of it to a point. I'm going on 40, and there's another half of me that still will never understand what people are truly going through. But it's just very, very tragic. I mean, the kids, why didn't you leave the children? Why didn't you leave your poor babies? Like, they had a chance at life, and now they don't. So anyways, her name is Emily Long. If you haven't already heard, it's just a very heartbreaking story.
I'm not ready to be everything for everyone all at once. Like, this was supposed to be my husband's part. My daughter is very much so snuggly, needs attention, needs hugs, needs definitely babying. Like, she still sucks her thumb. I'm gonna have so much worry at home. I need the school to be a place where I don't have to worry. There's a 70% chance over the next 9 to 12 months my husband is going to die. I feel like I'm advocating in the best of my heart, but I also wonder if it's for nothing. I worry about everything. I can't control anything. I've literally tried to make this video at least 4 times. My dogs keep eating, drinking water, burping, coughing. Like, Neanderthals. But I was having one of those days today where it just was like a glaring reminder of how overwhelmed I feel, and that there's going to be so many road bumps that are going to come my way that I'm not equipped to handle and I'm not ready to handle. And today was like the prime example of that. So we got our class assignments for our kids today for elementary school, and my daughter is going into first grade this year, and she had a really tough year last year. She really struggled academically, and we weren't warned in proper time, so we kind of had to scramble at the end of the year to get all of our ducks in a row for next year. My husband is a special ed and mental health professional, so like this is like his specialty. And, you know, I am like manically trying to understand this world from the lens of a parent, because it used to be through the lens of my husband, from him just like telling me about work and stuff. And I just felt so disappointed. You know, my daughter is very much so snuggly, needs attention, needs hugs, needs definitely babying. Like she still sucks her thumb. And she was put this year upcoming with the one male teacher. And while I love him, my son had him and he was perfect for my son. I just couldn't fathom how they could put her with him. And they fixed it, but I had to call and I had to advocate for her. And I felt like I was like kind of fighting against the tide a little bit. And full transparency, absolutely sobbed on the phone with the principal, because it just triggered this memory in me that like I'm ill-equipped to handle that. I am not ready to be everything for everyone all at once. Like this was supposed to be my husband's part. You know, so at the call I said my piece, and then the principal said his understanding of why she was put in the class that she was in, and I, you know, listened and I said I understand. And, you know, at the end of the explanation, I just said, I hear you. I understand that you are very well versed in this. I am not comfortable with that. I need her to have one of the female teachers. And it just like I said to him, you know, I'm telling him why. And I had a laundry list beyond just that she needed someone who could hold her and hug her. You know, it's having to say out loud to someone who I want to respect me and I want to take me seriously, and I don't want him to pity me and I don't want him to pity my kids, to say this year is going to be hard. There is a very high chance this year my husband passes away. There's a 70% chance over the next 9 to 12 months my husband is going to die. And I have so much worry. I worry about my kids. I worry about my husband. I'm going to have so much worry at home. I need the school to be a place where I don't have to worry. And like, it's just so hard to say out loud the reality of the statistics and the reality of what our life is going to look like. And it just felt like such a slap in the face, not from them. It had nothing to do with them. I hate saying it out loud. Like, we talk frequently about when he passes. He says, when I die. I say, when you die, because we're preparing for that. But it's hard to say it to someone who's not in it. And it's hard to prepare for that. And it's hard to say, I'm so scared, and should my husband die this year, I need my daughter to feel safe at school with someone who can comfort her. And he's saying, you know, I understand this teacher is very nurturing, which he is. You know, he raised daughters. That's great. It's just hard to advocate because I don't want this to happen. And I think a year ago I wouldn't have cared who she got. And I just ended the phone call and I said to him, I'm so sorry that I'm crying. And he was so sweet about it. But I just am so worried. And I just worry for her. I worry for my sons. And I just hated today because it's just a reminder of what is to come, in that as these road bumps happen, that I have to navigate them by myself. And I just am so sad for my kids. And it's nothing about the school. Our school is absolutely phenomenal. But it just is these little things. A class assignment. Who would ever think it would send me into a spiral? But it does. It's the things you never think will that just make you totally incapacitated with grief. And, you know, I'm at work while I'm doing this, so I stepped away and I did the phone call and I'm crying and take a breath. I wipe my tears and I walk back into the restaurant and I'm smiling and I'm talking to my staff and I'm making jokes and I'm pretending, and the whole time I want to crawl under my covers and die. But I can't. So I smile and I say it's fine. And I'm thanking the principal that he fixed it. And I feel guilt that I made him, maybe put him in an uncomfortable situation. And I feel guilt that maybe that was the right place for her to be. And I'm overstepping and I don't know what the future holds. And maybe this year he'll be fine. Sorry, I said my husband's name. Maybe he'll be fine and this will all be for nothing. And I don't know. I just know nothing. I'm scared of everything. I worry about everything. I can't control anything. And I feel like I'm advocating in the best of my heart, but I also wonder if it's for nothing. So it's just one of those days where, what am I doing? Like, I don't know.
Act like you ain't have no family support. You act like you ain't had no TikTok supporters. Why wouldn't you let your kids just survive? And if you wanted to take yourself out, you could have took yourself out. Now, y'all, she had so many red flags. She used to always say, oh, I need to get help before it's too late. She used to say a lot of slick things, and she used to say it so hard and just be crying. And we used to feel bad for her. Whole time, she was a serial killer.